Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
The 15th of April, 31 years ago, 96 fans went to a football match and never returned, and we'll remember them on this show. Of course, it was an FA Cup tie and it ended tragically, but for the resilience and never giving up attitude of most of the Liverpool families, in the end, they got justice for the 96, and we'll look back on the contribution of the great Sir Kenny Dalglish and, of course, the Liverpool family on that day and subsequent years afterwards. Welcome to the Football Show. As ever, we've got Tam McManus and Barry Ferguson on this Wednesday. Roughie will be with us shortly. Obviously, a few technical issues, which actually had happened to Barry on Monday, although there was a Dundee van allegedly spotted racing away from Barry's house. So I don't know if they actually cut the broadband at that point. But by the way, your non-appearance on the show on Monday, Ferguson, just started the whole social media madness. Oh, they were giving you pelters. Tainted title because you'd just been awarded it. And then, of course, there was all sorts of accusations that you didn't want to talk about the teddy bears, but there was a genuine technical hitch, Barry.
Yeah, look, our internet went down about 2 o'clock and it never got fixed till Tuesday afternoon, Peter, so it was genuine. Look, I called you and I says to you about 10 minutes before the show was starting, and good Gordon, who does the work behind the scenes, tried, but it wasn't possible. So I'm on today, so any questions you want to fire me, fire ahead.
Peter, he should have moved to the East Wing of his mansion. He might have got a signal in there. It's probably absolutely. just the bit there was.
Of course, the Wi-Fi won't work, Tam, if you start scalping it with a hammer, to be honest with you, to make sure.
Or a flip-flop.
Yeah, or a flip-flop, exactly. There's lots to talk about, of course. Never mind, the old argument of the SPFL. They're going to have a meeting at 5 o'clock. Subsequent news that's come out that the SPFL have said it's just not possible to finish the season going into August, because that would push the new season back to September. So that's a revelation that's come out. Dundee have released another statement, just as non-committal as the one they released yesterday. And we'll talk about Dundee, as well as we'll have a one-to-one with former Hibs, Aberdeen and St Johnstone midfielder. Paul Kane joins us from Edinburgh in one of the houses that he owns. It's as simple as that. So Kano with us. We've got Tam McManus there. We've got Barry Ferguson. And I have to say, first of all, congratulations. You are the Kelty manager of the champions Kelty Hearts. How do you feel about it?
Do you know what, Peter? I should feel happy. It's a strange feeling, if I'm being honest. Look, I've said plenty of times before, I would have rather won it fair and square on the pitch. But as the weeks have went on, it looks unlikely there's going to be any football for another 3 or 4 months. So when I got the phone call on Monday to be told that the league had awarded it, it was a strange feeling. I've got to be honest with you. As I said, I would rather win it fair and square on the pitch. We had 5 games to go. We were 6 points clear. Bonnyrigg were a game behind us. But I still had the confidence, even if the season went on, we were good enough to go on and win it. But it's a strange feeling. You should be celebrating, Peter. But if I'm being quite honest, it was there was no celebration.
Yeah. Do you have sympathy for Bonnyrigg Rose and their press release and their stance on this?
Yeah, but of course, look, if I was in Bonnyrigg's position, I would be disappointed. And I says, Peter, 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever decision was going to come out, whether it was from the leagues above or our league, and they made a decision, you've just got to accept it. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you've just got to go on with it. Now, our league made a decision on Monday afternoon to award us the title. And as I said, it's one of these ones where you should be celebrating and jumping about crazy. But I've got to be honest with you, it was a weird feeling. I just accepted it and I move on. But as I said, 5 games to go. I would rather play out the season, but there's no chance of that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, lots to talk about here. Of course, Roughie, are you okay? Are you with us?
Yeah. Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
No?
we can hear you, actually.
Fantastic.
We can, yeah, we can definitely hear you. We saw you fixing your hair as well, so we clearly knew that you didn't know you were on.
Brilliant.
Peter, I thought a Jakey had hijacked the show there.
Don't worry about it, Tam. He's been absolutely belting the alcohol, which, as I say to Roughie every day, look, everything in moderation, Roughie. Calm your jets, but he's going stir crazy, as you can tell. Now, listen. Apart from anything else, the rather worrying thing is, and I don't know if you've noticed it, guys, but Barry has managed to get himself, one of those do-it on yourself haircuts. He's used his son in this whole affair, and that's rather worrying, Roughie, because what we're seeing now is, I mentioned it to you last week, people are using these brushes which actually comb and cut your hair at the same time. Now there's clippers. I've been sent a link for clippers. Barry's clearly bought them. I'm actually contemplating buying a drill, Roughie, that actually drills into the centre of your wood where you could put a screw in it. Now, I don't know anything about joinery, but I'm looking at adverts now and thinking I could buy that. That's how mad I'm going now.
Yeah, I think everybody with the nice weather, I think everybody's trying, if you've got a garden, it's nice to get out in it. But obviously, if you don't get in it very much, all you've got is a chair to sit on. And that's it. There's lots of things you can do, but the days are getting longer and longer, as you can imagine.
Peter, so is yours, by the way.
I know, I'm not looking there about it.
Peter, can Barry shows the line at the back of his head? It's higher than the Hearts back four. Understandable.
I'm not ashamed. That was my son's first goal. Look, there you go.
Oh, that's magnificent. By the way, I don't know if you agree. I don't know, Tam. I don't know if you agree, but that's pretty close. It's very close to the Barry Ferguson thug years that you were talking about last week on the programme.
Bring them back, Barry. Bring them back. Come on, just get a number 0. Come on.
No, do you know what I was saying when Kyle was cutting it? I'm thinking to myself, and Tam McManus came into my head. Right, should I go and do it for Tam? But I just thought, no way.
That'd be class.
That would be absolutely fantastic. Just you, the thug haircut, and your Rangers tracksuit. Just fantastic stuff. Anyway, apart from anything else, good to have you on, Baz, with the Wi-Fi fixed, Roughie, in case you missed that little bit there. And Tam, you are looking, in East Kilbride, it's quite unusual. You get freak weather up there. You're looking bronzed, to say the least.
It is roasting up here, to be honest, and I've been round the back garden and doing a bit of sunbathing, so it's been tremendous, really, and it's making this lockdown all the better.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course, showing off, East Kilbride House has back garden. That's unusually. Magic, Tam. Okay, so I'm going to try and read out as many messages as I possibly can. Thank you to the thousands of people who've offered us compliments. Some people have offered us advice, but we've decided to stay on. So we'll read out the messages for Facebook and YouTube as well. But first and foremost, Dundee have released a statement, and with that, I might as well go back over it because this time around, they've highlighted certain things. They intended to vote no, but of course, this electronic submission didn't actually go through. So at this point, they're still not re-voted. They're critical of the SPFL's publishing of the incomplete votes. They only found out they hadn't voted after the SPFL had published them. They believe 2 Premiership clubs changed their voting stance late last week. They were critical of 2 Championship clubs for stating Dundee intended to vote no. And of course, we now know that that's Inverness and Partick Thistle who were involved in that trio together. Disregard rumours of an Old Firm conspiracy theory. John Nelm's obviously keen to quickly kill off any suggestion that there's been promises made or deals done in the background. And again, calls for a full discussion on reconstruction. Okay, Roughie, I'm going to start with you first on this. I think it's an absolute disgrace that Dundee still haven't voted, and I think it's an absolute disgrace that they seem to be considering themselves as some kind of Kofi Annan in this whole situation, as if they are at the forefront of brokering any new deals that are on the table.
Yeah, I think we just discussed it a wee bit yesterday. You know, I think the first question we need to be asking Dundee is who are they negotiating with? What is it? Clubs they're negotiating with? Is it SPFL they're negotiating the reconstruction with? You know, tell us who it is instead of hiding behind, you know, just flying out statements. I get if he's really thinking about the best for all the clubs, the 42 clubs, I don't have a problem with that. But when he starts coming away with stuff like we're going to have a whip run for Hearts and Partick Thistle and Stranraer, and we're expecting you all to chip in, that's never going to happen. We're going to organise some glamour games for you to bring some. Well, who's he going to ask? Real Madrid or Barcelona to come out? Because I just don't know where he's coming from. He just seems to be making things up that goes along. Stick to the no vote. He had a no vote, you know, and he hasn't given us a really good reason why he's changed, or he hasn't changed. We don't know if he has. He could come out with no still yet. So we don't know where he's going.
Yeah, can I just say something, Tam? He shouldn't be in this position in the first place. He shouldn't be talking to anybody at the SPFL, you know, on the basis that he is some kind of negotiator. He's not in a position with Dundee to suddenly put himself to the forefront of offering opinions on this. He should be part of a group that we're told to vote on something. Get your vote in, and if there are any resolutions, the collective will make them, not Dundee. I'm flabbergasted by this.
Peter, it all comes from the shambles that is the SPFL's voting system. Dundee you can say they were lucky or unlucky, however you want to put it, that they were last to vote. They knew the results before it was their turn to vote. Now, it's clear that they've put in the no vote. What I'm wanting to ask is, where is the pressure on the SPFL to come up with the IT, the server information that the SPFL didn't read this email? It didn't get delivered. I thought Dundee would have put more pressure on the SPFL in their statement, but they never. They're still none the wiser about that.
But you know as well as I do, if you're sending an electronic email, sometimes, through no fault of your own or a glitch can happen. You can get to a situation where you're trying to send an email and it's stuck in the outbox and it doesn't go. And then, at that point, unless somebody's changed their mind in that period, when the vote hasn't been submitted, then if you want to change your mind, great. It's not ideal. You change your mind. No, we're not happy about it. But a glitch can happen. But for them to suddenly then use that as leverage for me is bang out of order.
Peter, they've stated that they've sent a second email, which was cancelling their no vote, which the SPFL got. It's just an absolute scandal how this has happened. And now Dundee are in a position where they can negotiate.
Mm-hmm. Peter, I agree with you what you said. I think it's a disgrace. What gives him the right not to vote? Like every other club, 41 other clubs voted. Why is he not voting?
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Barry. And the other thing about it is, he's suddenly put himself in a position of power here. And the other thing about this, Roughie, and I've said it on Monday and I'll say it again, I think it was absolutely scandalous that Scott Gardner came out and revealed that both Partick Thistle and Inverness and Dundee were all talking to each other and were all showing each other their forms signed as a no vote.
Confidential.
I think that's a nonsense. If Scott Gardner was in a meeting with me, I wouldn't tell him I wouldn't tell him the sun was out, because that for me is bang out of order as well.
I get where you're coming from, but obviously he thought that he had been let down. Seemingly they had been in negotiations all week. And when you think if you're in negotiations with somebody and somebody guarantees you 100%, yeah, we're with you, and then all of a sudden that person isn't with you, you're going to feel a wee bit aggrieved, obviously, in light of everything. If they do turn it round, Peter, you can't have it. No. You can't have it both ways. You can't say we want transparency and somebody gives you transparency and then you don't want it.
No,
somebody actually fills you. Somebody fills you in, and what's happening?
No, that's not the argument, Roughie. Inverness's vote is for Inverness. Inverness's position is
I
for
agree.
Inverness. It's not for them to discuss with Partick Thistle and Dundee. I don't give a hoot what Inverness's position is with other two. They shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have given out private conversations in the meeting. He should have voted, and then, if he was going to release a statement based on Inverness, not based on what Dundee said they were going to do. It's none of his business.
Peter, why are these clubs negotiating anyway? It's what Dundee want to do. It's not what Inverness or Partick Thistle want to do. He's got to make his own decision for his own club.
Yeah, but that's what clubs do.
Nah,
that's what they do. That's what they do when there's a vote.
All of them.
They all phone run each other, and they all go, "What way are you going? What are you doing?" All that. That's what goes on. That's why your game's in a mess.
Roughie,
they're no proper leaders then.
Barry, I spoke to Lachlan Cameron yesterday, the United owner. I spoke to him on the phone. He phoned me from LA. He told me as soon as the vote came out, it came into his email. He voted within 5 minutes, and he voted without speaking to one person, and he voted yes because it was the best thing for United. Why didn't everyone else just do that? There was no need for WhatsApp chats. Just do your own thing.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. You've got to do what's best for your own club. Forget about negotiating or talking to another chief executive. Do what's best for you and what you think is right.
The other aspect of this now, Roughie, is he's now coming out and talking about, as you say, the insult to injury is I might organise, I might have come up with some plan. Whether this is true or not, I find it hard to believe. I might come up with some plan to give you some scraps off the table if you're getting relegated, or even better than that, I've been talking to them about reconstruction. Now, you were the first one to say it should have been there, and it should have been there in the first place, but it wasn't there. But now you have a situation where the 85%, quite a lot of the chairman I've been speaking to are digging their heels in and saying we're not going to be dictated to by 15% who just don't want to be relegated or don't want the title to be called here.
Yeah, but you're trusting the 85%. Remember, this vote was over 4 different sections. So it wasn't a lump sum of 85%. It was a section of the votes in all the different leagues. You had to come up with a percentage in your section. So a lot of them weren't 85%.
Yeah,
but
the three clubs in the championship have then conspired for a no vote without informing other clubs.
I don't think they've conspired. I think they knew what they were voting for. They weren't going to vote for their own downfall. You know, that's common sense. And we've already spoken about the reason. But you can twist that round about. The reason that all the teams in the lower division voted for was to get their money. It had nothing to do with who was going where or whatever. Just gaze our money. We need it desperately. That's the problem for me. This wasn't a vote about football. This was an 85% vote about getting your money.
Yeah, but over and above that, Roughie, they were incredibly vague about the fact that you could get money based on a loan. And it's been a drip feed here of what was available to people, what they were voting on instead of thinking it was an ultimatum, as you rightly point out. And of course, reconstruction's not on the table. And let me tell you, the other part of that, which is going to be a nightmare, is if reconstruction is to happen, you've still got an 11-1 vote that every club agreed to in the Premiership, which makes it nigh on impossible to get an extended league in the Scottish Premiership because of that 11-1 voting system. So that's another nightmare, and another, for me, Barry, that's another embarrassment to Scottish football over the last 5 years, was allowing that voting structure to stay at 11-1.
Yeah, they had to change that, Peter, 11-1. They've got to go down a bit. I mean, have they not got the power to change that just now in terms of going for reconstruction? Because for me, I'm not just saying it because of my club, Celtic Hearts, and the position we're in now after the decision that was made on Monday. I think for the benefit of Scottish football in a whole, they need to reconstruct. So can the SPFL not do something about this voting system that's 11-1? Where I'm with you, they should have changed it. They should have changed it.
Yeah, absolutely. But can I tell you this? The situation now is we don't even know if reconstruction is on the table. Can I ask you this, guys? And Roughie, you're older than me. In my lifetime, how many teams have won the First Division and the Premiership up until now? How many teams?
Well, I'd be guessing. I'd really be guessing on that one. How many teams
do you
have
want-
won?
the
Go
top
say
flight.
that again, Gibbs.
How many teams have won the top flight in Scottish football in my lifetime?
Let me guess then that one. 3.
2. Aberdeen
2.
and Dundee United. And Celtic and Rangers have carved up every other league since then. And of course, the money, and of course, the biggest amount of fans are all with them. I know Celtic and Rangers fans will want to absolutely give me it in the teeth, but I don't care. This league is just constantly Celtic and Rangers battering off each other. We want 9 in a row. We want 10 in a row. We want another 9 in a row. Nobody else gets a chance to do anything. This is a chance to restructure the whole divisions, and somehow, hopefully at the end of it, we get a change and we get more money down to other clubs to maybe give them a fighting chance to cause the odd upset and have another Sir Alex Ferguson or another Jim McLean along the way. I don't necessarily mean, they have to adopt the same tactics, but certainly at least get another club capable of stopping Celtic and Rangers dominating it. Am I wrong in that?
You're right. You're perfectly right. But that was one of the reasons why I couldn't understand why the first vote had to be, right, let's sort out the champion, let's sort out the first division and the second division. And then once we've done these 3, we'll then sort out the SPFL. And it's a completely different voting system. The first thing that should have been done. How do you mean a test run? No, what they're saying. What they let everybody
for 3 lower divisions.
No, what they done was they let everybody believe that if you sorted their 3 divisions out, that means the SPFL will be sorted out. It'll just run through automatically, which I think we all know it won't, because they'll call the shots in whether there's going to be league reconstruction or no league reconstruction. The clubs have been sold down the river.
Yeah,
the first vote should have been league reconstruction. 42 teams. Let's have 75% of every team in every division voting. And if you get 75%, we change all the leagues. Not just 3, we change 4. And let's have a vote on that and then see where that goes.
Well, do you know what we are? But we're a laughing stock. We're a laughing stock. That's what we are. That's
You're right, but
as much as
I don't necessarily agree with Roughie that should have been the first vote. The first vote should have been, by the way, here's the vote on, are we going to get a game played? So if not, we're going to have to call the leagues. And you call the leagues and you say, with that, in the background, we're going to reconstruct the leagues as well. There'll be no relegation, but you're going to have to call the leagues because null and void's off the table. I'm sorry. I know people will start effing and being on this Facebook and YouTube, but it's off the table. So call the leagues. You're not going to get a ball kicked. The SPFL have come out and said you won't get a ball kicked until August, and that's when the new season starts. And there are all sorts of things which we've explained why you need to get to a new season for UEFA, for TV money, for planning for season tickets, if people can afford them. But call the leagues, but say it's not based on you getting the money. This is what Roughie highlighted there. You can vote on it, but it's not about getting money because we'll give you money anyway. That's
Peter,
and then and also on the cards is reconstruction.
Peter, there shouldn't be any relegation for me. I mean, you look at the situation we're in now. Nobody's getting any money. Nobody's working. Hearts are on their knees financially. They're asking for big wage cuts. I'm sure Thistle are the same. If you relegate Hearts and you relegate Partick Thistle, you could actually put them out the game. You could put them out the game, and I just don't think that's right, especially when they've got games to play. So I don't agree with the relegation whatsoever. You can't do it.
Tam, how can you relegate? How could you relegate Hearts? Relegate Partick, Stranraer,
you can't,
and Brecon City don't get relegated.
Aye, no. But that's obviously because I think it's Ken Ferguson is on the Brecon chairman's on the SPL committee, which is an absolute joke, to be honest.
No, but if I could just stop. Just I need to interject here just for a minute. No, shut up. I'm going to have to jump in for legal reasons, so shut up here, Roughie. All I would say to you is there is no suggestion whatsoever that Ken Ferguson, as a member of the SPFL board, is somehow influencing it for Brecon City to stay in the league. I have to emphasise that point, whether people think it's right or not. I would like to emphasise that point. He's on the SPFL board. if Brecon don't get relegated, it would be a collective decision on behalf of the SPFL. I have to clarify that. That's the first thing. If Brora Rangers and Kelty don't get brought in this season, that's an SPFL collective decision. Okay, now we can move on. I just have to quickly, just stop anything that jumps in with that point. But
Peter,
the other
Peter.
point, yeah.
Peter, what I meant was if you relegate Partick Thistle and Hearts and you don't relegate Brecon, surely there's questions to be asked.
No. I know that, but I just have to. This is a good 10, 15 years on Super Scoreboard. I'm on the case now. I just have to make sure everybody's aware that there is absolutely no suggestion that Ken, and I know Ken. Lots of people will be looking and saying, I don't want to get relegated. Can I just also say to you, of the chairman I spoke to at the weekend, and I'm not for a minute suggesting this legitimises anything, Roughie, but 6 or 7 of the chairmen are owned by millionaires or backed up with them. They're not going to fold. They've got time, but I would like to see the money out now, whether they've got millionaires backing them or not. I think they deserve
Peter, is that in the Premier League?
Yeah.
In the Championship. In the Championship, there are 6 or 7 clubs that have got wealthy benefactors and they could survive. But that's not the issue. They shouldn't be going to their wealthy benefactor. They should be getting money that's rightly theirs. Is that fair, Roughie?
Yeah, I would agree. I think everybody, that's the point, Peter. Everybody would agree with you 100%. It just doesn't seem to be getting through the people at the SPFL. They're hiding behind this rule and this resolution and this and that. I think it was Hugh yesterday, they said that money that is actually lying there is the club's money. They are the members they're just looking after this money for the members of the association. So I don't see why they're hiding behind a resolution. They're changing resolutions left, right and centre. The first priority would be change this resolution. Change it so the clubs get all their money. Simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ray Finkel says just because they have rich owners on YouTube, he says, doesn't mean they'll put it all into their clubs. Ray, you're absolutely 100% correct. But they are, wealthy people who have the clubs. And I would presume if they didn't get the money, they would be able to survive by at least propping them up for a short period of time. Whether they should or not do that, again, is another question. But Ray, you make a lot of good points on this one, as well as Facebook and YouTube. I'd like to thank everybody who's actually liked, shared and followed the programme. You can tell this is passionate, guys, because I've forgot 2 elements here. We've got a little feature on brothers that have played with each other right across UK football. So if you get a chance, guys, think about that and we'll give you the answer at the end. Brothers who've played together in UK football. And of course, we've been all battering on and we're so passionate about what's happening at the moment. I forgot to give you the quiz. So we'll give you the brothers, if you can put them on Facebook for us and YouTube. We'll give you the brothers that played together and we'll also give you the answer to our daily quiz. Excuse me. The one thing I was going to say to guys, and I know the guys obviously revel in this as well, when you're putting questions, and I'm going to read out a number of your comments, please, if you get a chance, please try and avoid being abusive and entering into what we call the pond life of bigotry on your posts, because all we will do is delete them and hide them and stop you from actually participating in offering comments. The 99% of the people who watch this show and make comments on Facebook are absolutely thoroughly decent people, and they love their football club and they put across a passionate point. What we do get is some complaints from people who just enter into a world of bigotry and madness. This really isn't the station for you. You'd probably be as well going and arguing with your mates, in the garden. It's not here for you. We like to read out your points, but we like it to be passionate and pertinent. If you want to give us an absolute hammering humorously for, something we're wearing or a haircut that we've got, then by all means do so. But, you know, the bigotry, we're not into it. So there you are. That sets the record straight, doesn't it, Barry? Over and above that, I wonder
How
what's
many
going to
of them
happen.
to me, Peter?
Well, to be fair, when you
He deserves
first
it.
joined,
Game abuse.
That's all right. Listen, I can handle it. Thick skin.
I know, but when you first joined, they absolutely, Roughie, as you know, we couldn't stop laughing because when he first joined, if they weren't belting him for his EBTs, they were leathering him for Rangers. It was unbelievable, you know. But eventually, I think people have warmed to you, Barry, to be perfectly honest with you. But now Tam's getting it. What is it about you on Twitter, Tam? You just seem to, Barry and I were talking about, you just seem to pick fights with everybody. Your head must be ready to explode.
It's honestly, my head is going to explode. It was the conspiracy theories. Honestly, the conspiracy theories when Dundee never voted. Peter Lawwell's pulling the strings, or Rangers have got in contact, and all these, you know, the tinfoil hat brigade talking about on Twitter. And now they've just come out and says, listen, Dundee have come out today and stressed it. Celtic and Rangers were nothing but professional in all their dealings with Dundee. So I think that should shut a few of those idiots up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we say, Roughie, we love a conspiracy theory, don't we? I mean, honestly, since John F. Kennedy in 1963, we've been all over it, haven't we?
Yeah, we certainly have, and I've actually went there last year just to get it sorted out, and I find it very difficult. Wesley Harvey Oswald, to tell you the truth.
By the way,
okay,
Peter, I think there's a few Rangers supporters that actually think Peter Lawwell bumped half JFK. I think he was in the grassy knoll.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, I mean, at the end of the day, what you tend to get in Scotland is anybody who's at the top of a Rangers or a Celtic or the SFA or the SPFL, they get it. The one thing I think is beyond doubt, I think, Roughie, the SPFL have handled this shabbily.
Yeah, and just the way, Tam, if it had been Peter Lawwell, it must have been a hell of a shock because he'd only been 4 years of age.
Yeah, that's another point. Actually,
you're right.
I'm sure
They have. I mean, and I would like to think, Peter, that the amount of abuse that they're getting. Yeah, and I would like to think that I mean, I'm sure they are very, very respectable business people, you know, who would get themselves together and say, look, guys, we've made a mess of this. We've not done this properly. Let's sit down again and let's have another chat. We've seen what everybody's views are, the majority of people's views are, where we should go here. Let's sit down and see if we can keep everybody happy. And that, in the main, that's what we all want. We don't want anybody punished. We want people promoted. We want, Do
you know what? I think they would come out with a hell of a lot more respect if they done that. They hold their hands up and said, listen, we made a mess of this. Look, this is what we're going to do. Do you know what? Fair play to them. Let's see if they do it, though.
Yeah, I think Hugh McDonald made a very good point, Barry, as well. I don't think it helps when you get a situation where Rangers have come out and called for the suspension of Rod McKenzie and Neil Doncaster because of evidence that they have apparently from a whistleblower. I mean, that's just throwing a grenade into the middle of this. At the end of the day, if they've got that evidence, I think they should get it out there quickly. And if they want an independent investigation, give them it.
Yeah, look, Peter, it's like not just Rangers. There's another couple of clubs mentioned that there's been a bit of whistleblowing going on. So listen, if they're saying it, produce the evidence and then we can take it from there. But there's been no evidence produced yet.
Yeah, and the SPFL have come out and said they're at peace. They're at peace with the way it's been conducted, Roughie. My only criticism of them as a collective is they should not have allowed everybody's vote to become common knowledge.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I mean, we see what happens when we vote ourselves in a ballot for the government or whatever. The stringent rules you have to go through, and everything is kept secret until a certain time, and then it's all released at the one time. That's the way it operates, you know, and that's the way it should have done. Another thing with the whistleblower, we need to find out what railway station he comes from.
Yeah, absolutely, Roughie. I knew you'd find a line in it. James Milliken has said. I'm going to read James Milliken's out. There are some times, by the way, when Roughie enjoys his own joke that much that he'll laugh for another minute and a half.
He likes that one.
He loves it.
That was a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for your next after dinner speaking bit.
Absolutely.
Oh, that'll be never.
No,
That's gone. That's gone.
No, exactly.
That's gone.
James Milliken says, back to being Rangers' fault. Toe the party line. James, you're so wide of the mark it defies belief. You really got to listen to the arguments in context. We've criticised the SPFL. We are talking about all the issues that have come out. If Rangers have got evidence of the conduct of Rod McKenzie and Neil Doncaster being inappropriate, get it out there. Just get it out there. What's the problem with that? If they've got, good evidence that they think means that they've not conducted themselves properly, get it out there. There's not blaming Rangers for anything, but you just can't throw something like that in the mix and not get it out there. And then if they want an independent investigation because the evidence is solid, get it out there. But it won't go away because they'll have to address it at some point. We've already leathered the SPFL for the way they've conducted this. And at the end of it, I think all of us here, whether Roughie's sitting there or not, Tam, we've absolutely battered Partick Thistle, Inverness and Dundee for talking to each other in the first place. And then for Scott Gardner to come out and reveal private conversations. We're not blaming Rangers for anything. We're just giving you the overall picture here.
No, listen, nobody's blaming Rangers at all. But as you said, if you're going to come out with big accusations that Rangers, they've done, you've got to back it up. I mean, I think in terms of Inverness, I mean, you could look at it this way. Dundee, if they've been the biggest snakes ever towards Partick Thistle and Inverness, they have gave their word in these WhatsApps. If these WhatsApps are genuine, they've literally gave their word that they were going to vote no. And if they go and change it now, they will come across as the biggest snakes in Scottish football. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, but by the way, this isn't an allegation of it. This is a stonewall fact. Scott Gardner went on national radio and said, by the way, there's the voting slip.
I know.
And this is what we all said to each other, for me, I give the BBC Sports Sound team a pat in the back. Well done getting it. My jaw was dropping, as were a number of chairmen I'd spoken to who automatically, to a man, said to me, each one of them said to me, I cannot believe that Scott Gardner has revealed a private conversation. Why would you trust him again in any meeting, Roughie?
Yeah, I can understand why people would do that. If you get in discussions with people, you want it to be private. I don't know the guy Gardner. I just feel he must have been completely and utterly let down by Dundee, obviously, and it annoyed him more than anything else. And it's an individual shout. I don't know the guy at all, but he's obviously wanted to let everybody know, hey, this is not happening because this hasn't been done right. And who knows what who knows what might have happened, Peter, if he had kept his mouth shut and we didn't know anything about it. I think it would be worse because we'd all be sitting going, wait a wee minute, what happened there? Do you know what I mean? If we didn't know, if we hadn't seen the voting papers and we hadn't seen what went on, we'd be even more in the dark of what is actually going on at this precise moment in time.
What if you three hadn't all chatted to each other? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying if the boy Gardner hadn't come out and told everybody, here is the voting papers, here's what Dundee were going to do, and we didn't know any of these facts at all, we'd be flying by the wind because we would not know who to believe here because the SPFL would be coming out with telling us, there wasn't a vote accepted or there was. They could tell you anything.
No, but
they can't
that's
hide
not
behind anything.
It would have been a no vote then. Nobody would have known anything. It would have been a no vote. You'd have still bought yourself time to go and negotiate.
No, but they didn't know, Roughie.
They're saying they didn't vote. No.
No, but hold on. No, hold on. What's happened here is Dundee were not aware that they hadn't received it. The SPFL Dundee weren't aware that it hadn't gone through. And then the three of them, who'd all chatted with each other, Scott Gardner came out at that point and said, by the way, on the Saturday, he's come out and said that you three had all chatted to each other. Now, from the minute that the SPFL hadn't received that vote, all they needed to do was go back to him and say, send your vote again. But somewhere along the line, I believe, just as a personal point of view, once it got down to the SPFL revealing that 3 clubs hadn't actually voted, Dundee suddenly knew, and the other 2 clubs would have known, we've got a bit of leverage here. But they should just have said to them, without revealing to everybody that had voted, they should have phoned Dundee and says, listen, we haven't got your vote. Just get it back in right now. Right now, if you've sent it, send it again. Instead of this whole situation where suddenly they could play a game of poker and then realise that they've got the upper hand in this because they haven't voted and their last vote has a sway. Because that's exactly the way it was described by Scott Gardner on the Saturday, Roughie.
Yeah, but I think the bottom line of the whole thing is that did Dundee send in a no vote? And the answer to that is yes. Whether it got there or it didn't get there, they signed a no vote.
Yeah, I agree with you. They have signed a no vote. And by the way the SPFL conducted themselves, suddenly it became known that they hadn't received their vote, and suddenly Dundee looked at it and thought, wait a minute, we've got a sway here. And
Peter.
Did they change their mind? Have they changed their mind? We don't know because they're still silent.
Peter, by company law, can you change a no vote to a yes? A lot of people have been saying that on social media, that if Dundee voted no, they still had 28 days to change it to a yes. By company law, is that true?
Well, no, this is the SPFL rules, apparently.
Yes, SPFL rules, sorry. Yep, right.
I mean, I find that astounding. Do you know what I would like to see happen?
Unbelievable.
I'd like to see the whole vote declared null and void. And everybody else, everybody of the 42 clubs, Barry, have to resubmit the vote with reconstruction, and you get your money regardless in the package. I think they should scrap this because Dundee shouldn't be in the position of power they're in.
Yeah, I agree with you. Peter, also, when they put the vote out in Wednesday, I thought it was a bit rushed, if I'm being honest, wanting it in on Friday afternoon by tea time, 5 o'clock. I'm with you. Scrap it, re-vote, give them 5 to 7 days and get the votes back in, and you've got to vote. Plain and simple. Nobody can miss out. And then a decision's made.
Roughie, would you buy that?
Yeah, buy that 100%. And then after we've got that all sorted out, we go to the SPFL and say you've got 2 days to sort your league out, who the champions are, and then see where we go.
Roughie.
You've only got 2 days now, so get your act together.
Roughie, but party officials change their vote.
Can I just say to you guys?
Vote.
Well, of course, yes, you will. You'll be able to obviously phone all your mates again and ask each other which way you're voting. Listen, other thing here,
Peter, quickly, I just can't get my head round the fact that clubs negotiate with other clubs. I don't get it. Surely you make your own decisions in life in the way that you want the club to go forward and the way the club wants to vote. I don't get this asking people.
Totally agree.
I don't get it.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you want me to tell you something,
that's
Barry?
like me. That's like me as a manager, undecided to pick my starting 11 on a Saturday, and I'll phone up another manager and say, "What do you think my starting 11 should be? Go and pick it for me."
Yeah. Listen, the one thing I would say to you, and I think a lot of people on here are talking about it, Andy Wilson says, null and void everything. Andy always joins us from Australia. The one thing I would say is, listen, we're naive to suggest that people don't all get together and collude or agree on doing a certain thing. That is just naive, because it happens at Westminster. It happens in life with votes. People always, get together and favour each other and do each other favours. I suggested the old scratching of the back. I am not for a minute suggesting that people were offered sweeteners or any kind of inducement financially to do it. But somewhere along the line, people do chat and try and influence each other. You'd be naive to think they don't. But I do think that when it came out that all 3 clubs had chatted to each other, it's none of each club's business. They should have actually, is exactly what Lachlan Cameron said to Tam McManus, here's your vote based on, first and foremost, which we know, for Ayr United, but maybe some people will say, and also for the betterment of the game and to help clubs along the way. Maybe some people took a broader view.
Peter, Ayr United were in the playoffs. I mean, they had every right to vote no and try and, that was their season finished. But Lackland said to me, there was so much going on. We wanted the season finished because we had players out of contract. You had players going into next season if the league kept running. It was a no-brainer for him, and that was just his personal view. He didn't contact anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Peter,
and of course,
Peter, I get what you're saying. Look, we're no naive enough to think that you do chat with each other and say, what do you think the good points of this? What's the bad points? But surely when you come off the phone, you sit or talk to your board of directors and think, right, bang, this is your decision and your decision only. No getting influenced with another club.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, by the way, I'm going to say this. David McGill says, is there any chance, Roughie, you could say hello to Davo? Davo's your postman.
Davo.
Yeah.
Davo. Well done, Davo. You just come in once every 4 days now. You hiding in a head somewhere, some sun. No, he's doing. He's just my postman. He does a fantastic job. He comes up here into the country, and if I'm not there, he doesn't put it in the letterbox. He puts it just inside the door. Fantastic guy.
Brilliant. Did you leave your door open?
I've got to leave the door open for the cat and the dogs and the.
How's the cat open the door?
Yeah.
No,
by
the
cat way,
comes in and sleeps inside. I'm not a softie.
Barry, you have to see this house to believe it. By the way,
I've seen it. I've picked him up.
It's
I've picked
mental.
him up a few times.
He's in the middle. He's in the middle of nowhere. The only thing that's going to break it is a deer. It's as simple as that. Listen,
can I just before we go any further, Tam, I had a dinner to pass on to you, but unfortunately it was up in Breaton. So I'm
sitting down.
Just not happening.
Davy McCutcheon, who is a guy I know well, he's a big Rangers fan. Davy's just said, at last you recognise null and void is on the table. Well, Davy, believe me when I say this, and again, sometimes I have to enlighten everybody. Null and void is not on the table, not because we've declared it, Davy. It's because, quite simply, in this league, after phoning countless people in various positions, right across Europe as well, null and void's not on the table. And when they meet on the 23rd of April, UEFA will give people advice, but the SPFL, like the Italian FA, will have to call the leagues. If someone comes out and says null and void, that'll be their call. But I don't believe for a minute null and void is on the table in Scotland, Tam McManus. And I think eventually they will call Celtic the champions.
Null and void. I mean, the four of us have been firm on this from the start. Null and void just can't be on the table. There's so much to, legalities. Season ticket money. The UEFA rankings. The coefficient points. Are they out the window? The clubs get money. Do you get paid on your position? Nobody's got a position. The clubs, the SFA pay the money out. The SPFL, sorry. It's just a no-brainer. It just can't be a null and void for me. You've got to call the leagues as they are and look towards reconstruction.
And the other point here, Barry, which I think a lot of people are missing out on, the SPFL may well hope to kick off a new season in August, but don't for a minute think that with the medical advice that's going about right now, that suddenly when the lockdown is eased and we all get back out there, without a vaccine, we're all going to be allowed to go into a stadium with 50,000 people. That's not going to happen.
Peter, if I'm being honest with you, it's only my opinion. I don't think football will start in August. Just what you've said there. I think it will be a gradual build-up. So I think we'll even struggle to get the season started August. I'm looking September, October before we get control of the virus, as I said, because you know what? There's more important things, Peter. It's people's health, first and foremost.
Yeah, you're right. And also, Barry, I'm looking there at UEFA saying they might stage the Champions League and the Europa League in August to try and get it done behind closed doors. I just think they're releasing statements giving people false hope.
You can't play games without any fans. That's what makes football, the fans. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of people saying, let's get the games over and done with and play behind closed doors. I think if you ask any player, or any manager. They want to play in front of supporters. Let's do it when we've got control of this virus and we're back to normal normality.
Peter, why are they announcing that? One thing and one thing only: money.
Yeah, of course,
money.
of course. There's a driving force here. Listen, the reason
Yep.
why they're not calling any of the leagues in the Big Five at the moment is because it's not a
TV
it's
deal.
not taking it's not taking the moral high ground. It's lawyers going over every fine line in the contracts to see where they all stand financially and see what they have to hand back and what they're legally obliged to do with a season that doesn't finish and a season that must start and a competition that must be adhered to in Europe as well. There are all sorts of complications. So it's not us
Peter,
calling null and void. It's just a fact of life.
Just another thing, I know it's been mentioned before, but a lot of people forget, and Tam will tell you about this. See when you get back, and you're allowed to train together in July. I've mentioned that I think last week. You need 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks to get up
Darren
to
Jackson
scratch
said
again.
Darren Jackson said yesterday, no, 2 weeks.
Nah,
Right.
Jacko. Well, nah, I'm not having
2
that.
weeks, but 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and then back playing competitive games.
Well, I'll give you one. How long have
No.
they had off just now? How long has there been no football played?
Well,
Month,
it's
maybe?
easily 4 or 5 weeks.
Right.
Yep.
How long do you get off in pre-season?
Listen, you're
I'm not buying into that 2 weeks. That's garbage.
I'm in your camp on this
That's
one.
garbage.
But some
Garbage.
players, Ryan Stevenson as well, has come out and said, players can get back 2 weeks into it. I just wonder what state they'll be in. So now, don't hammer Ryan Stevenson. Hammer Jacko,
No,
who's part of our team. but at the end of the day,
I'm not
it's an
agreeing
opinion.
It's not the right opinion.
Yes, well, that's a great thing about this show. Listen, Jim Johnson says, does Barry think Kelty should be promoted? No playoff.
Look, but what's Broder? Broder in the same position as us, Peter. I think the only way that we're going to have a chance of getting promotion is reconstruction.
Yeah, well, you can't say any fairer than that. Justin Angus, Hugh Hepburn Duff, Paul McQuaid, Andy Wilson, John Barr, Andy Ferry, Thomas McGee, David Fraser as well, Michael Hooligan, James Gordon, Dougie Liddle. There are so many people that join us on the programme. Darren Young as well. Did you play against Darren Young, Tam? Played for Aberdeen?
I played with him. I played with him at Dunfermline. I've got a quick story for you. We played Celtic at Parkhead, and our right back got injured in the warm up. Aaron LeBon, and Darren Young had to go back in and play. He's a central midfield player, good player. Barry played against him as well, and he had to go back and play right back against Aidan McGeady. Oh my word! He got corkscrewed. He twisted blood after about 20 minutes. And I always say to him, do you know that wee turn McGeady used to do? You know the wee drag back? He must have done that about 7 times. He roasted him. It was a doon.
Well,
thanks for watching the show, Darren.
Yeah,
he was a good player.
Yeah, good player. But he's not going to watch the programme now after him telling the story, is he? He's just absolutely caned him.
Just killed him.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we're going to give the answer out to the brothers shortly and the quiz too. Do stay with us, guys. I know that it's such a passionate topic, and we'll read out some of the guys that have been offering us their thoughts on YouTube and Facebook as well. So if you can stay with us, the reason I'm saying that is because we're catching up. I don't know, did you play with Kano? Well, he was the first batch of a golden generation, Paul Kane at Hibs, wasn't he, Roughie?
Mm.
No, there was a few of them. There was Kano, there was wee Mickey Weir, there was John Collins, Gordon Hunter, Joe Tortolano, a lot. I mean, there was about 7 or 8 of them all ready to break through. Danny Lennon as well. Young Danny was there. So, a fantastic crowd of young players. Unfortunate for them, they had a good manager to bring them through, and Alec Miller.
If only they're decent. If only they're decent goalie behind them, they'd be all right.
Yeah.
do you know what?
Robin Ray. Robin Ray. Did I tell you? Did you hear? I'll tell you the Robin Ray one.
Go on, fire away.
Robin Ray. I broke my ankle, and I was out for 6 weeks. And young Robin Ray was the goalkeeper who took over when I away. And I was coming back, and I said to Pat Stanton, Pat, any chance of a game? In midweek with the reserves, and he went, no, the doctor says you have to leave it another week. And I says, but I think I'm okay. And he went, no, just leave it another week. I'm sitting in the house on a Friday night before the Dundee game, and Pat comes on. He goes, how's your ankle? I says, it's okay. Aye, just the same as it was on Tuesday. He says, well, I'm just going to play you tomorrow at Dundee. And I said, where's Big Robin? He goes, he's just been lifted. He's in the jail.
So there you are. I didn't see that coming. And of course, the next batch of young guys.
I thought it was going to be an Alex
through.
Gear.
Oh, Alec Miller. I mean,
no.
He's caned him as well. We've caned everybody today on the show. It's unbelievable. Everybody's getting it. But I have to say to you, the next batch after that was, of course, Tam. You're talking about Riordan and Thompson and Brown. What a great bunch of kids. That might be the way forward for Hibs now if they're financially under a wee bit of pressure like so many clubs coming out of this. Anyway, earlier today, I caught up with Paul Kane. Well, I'm delighted to say we're joined by former Hibs, Aberdeen and St Johnstone midfielder Paul Kane. Paul, I know you're one of those guys that likes to be on the move all the time. This lockdown must be a complete nightmare for you.
Of course, I usually get away with watching live sports events because I've all got all females in the house, Peter, so it's even worse. But there's no live sports events, which makes it even more horrendous.
And I'm told you're the man that's got to go out once a week for the shopping.
Yeah, I've got butter down to 20p for a tub of butter now.
If I had said that to you 20 years ago, Kano, you would never.
I would never have thought that would have happened in my lifetime. Definitely not.
Absolutely. Listen, it's great to talk to you. Are you watching the madness that's unfolding? Because we now have a statement from Dundee claiming, obviously, that they've still to vote. They were going to register a no vote in this whole campaign. It didn't get through, and now they're, as they put it, standing on the ball, just waiting and assessing everything at the moment.
Peter, I've actually kind of switched off it because I think it's just like ludicrous. You know what I mean? That the vote didn't come to an end on Friday. When they put the vote out, it should have been done and dusted on Friday, and then whatever happened, and it had to go to the next level or whatever they had to do. So I've kind of switched off it because I think it's a farce. Yeah,
it's becoming embarrassing. What would you like to see happen?
What I like to see is this season come to an end. I think you've only got 8 games in the Scottish Cup to play. Maybe delay the start of next season, but it gives everybody a chance to, if they're a game behind, 3 points behind, to actually find out what their position is in the right circumstances. If that can be done, that's what I'd like to see. But I listen, I'm not the man that runs the game. I know there's going to be, we don't know how long it's going to be. Football's going to be played, or how long the guys are not training together. But I think it's going to cause a lot of eruptions if they pull the season now, that there's going to be all this infighting.
I'm almost certain that's the way it's going to unfold, Paul, because basically the SPFL have said that there's no way by the time they get to the summer they'll have enough time to play the fixtures. They may well be able to sneak in the Scottish Cup in a one-off before the season starts. That's still to be determined. But I can't see them being able to finish it. Would you expand the leagues?
Yes, I would definitely expand the league. Listen, I'm a Hibs man, but I don't want to see Hearts going down in the present circumstances. If it's through total football that they've played the whole season, they get the playoff game, and that's the rules, and they're still relegated, well, that's their own fault. But right now, nobody knows in any kind of walk of life what the future is going to hold for anything.
Paul, I mentioned to the guys that since I was born, and probably in your lifetime as well, I've witnessed basically 4 championships in the Premiership, as it's known, go to Aberdeen and Dundee United. The rest of the time it's Celtic and Rangers. Now, I don't know about you, but I would like to see some kind of structure that changes, whether it's the financial dynamics, and there's a need for us to try and give other clubs a chance to compete here. I don't know if it's a bigger league, but I just don't think we can go on the way we're always going on.
I think at the end of the day, you've got an ideal opportunity. You don't want to be losing clubs. We're not going to gain any clubs. So why lose the clubs? Now, why put a team like Hearts down in a situation that's never, ever, maybe ever going to happen again in your lifetime. We need to keep them together. Even if it was, Peter, even if it's only for one season, to say, listen, in the present circumstances, because of the pandemic, this is what we're going to have to do for the sake of football. Not for the sake of Celtic, not for the sake of Rangers, not for the sake of Hibs or Hearts, for the whole of Scottish football. And that's the most important thing about the whole lot.
Yeah, I agree with you on that 100%. And the other great thing about it, that now means that you can go to the West End and actually go out for a meal in that area.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
maybe not. Still not welcome around Gorky, but nevertheless,
the East End is my part of the town.
Yeah, I had a sneaky feeling you were going to say that. Listen, just before you go, got to get your thoughts on the Hibbies now. Are you a big Jack Ross fan? Are you a fan of what he's doing?
Well, I think the future. I think the future is very much in the owner, and I'm a shareholder, and I went to the first meeting with Ron Gordon, and his outlook on it's very much Americanised, like the game, match day experience, this and that. But the whole thing comes down to, Peter, as you know and I know, it's what happens on the football pitch. And if I think Ron Gordon needs to come out, and he's kind of made a statement, but he's never really put his money down. You know what I mean? To make a true statement to the Hibs fans. We're going to double our money. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That's fine. Why don't you do it? Then say it.
Yeah, I mean,
actions speak louder than words, Peter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But the problem now is, and this is linked to Hibs and so many other clubs.
Say, because of the pandemic, a lot of people's ambitions will be tailored, or have to be tailored, because they'll have to look into account of what they've already lost. If this season is going to be a write-off, what they're going to lose out of that.
Picking up on that point that you made there, Paul, I think because of the financial implications, it would be great if Hibs could maybe invest and maybe try and find that 5 or 6 of a golden generation that could come through, young players that could break into the team. You're looking for a Thompson, a Brown, a Whittaker, a Riordan to come through again.
Well, it's like myself, Mickey, Kevin McKee, got John Collins, Mickey Weir, that kind of thing. You always get a batch. But it's been a long time since we've had this kind of batch at Easter Road. I mean, the last player was sold through the academy for money was Stephen Fletcher at 3.5 million to Burnley. The last player I think we've produced, and it's a shame because he's been injured for more than he has played, has been Ryan Porteous. But apart from that, it's been indifferent, I would say.
Here's the last point. How are you occupying yourself apart from that? Are you just calling as many mates as you possibly can?
Peter, I've got the best garden. Beechgrove Garden, you can even have a look in with my garden right now. Be hiring me soon.
Kano, the minute you get out, I am driving you down to my house. Listen, you and your family stay safe, and I'll speak to you when I get through to the East End of Edinburgh.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Good man, Kano. And by the way, Kano by name, can I just say to you, if you think you get hammered on this show, the minute I started talking to Kano there, he's getting battered on social media.
Do you know what? Here, Tam, Peter never mentioned you in that super batch of young kids coming through.
Barry, I noticed that. Yeah, I'm finished. I'm getting back to the BBC. We're done.
Oh, listen, I should have mentioned that. Listen, the last thing listen, hey, I don't believe that can happen, Tam. You're enjoying yourself too much, by the way.
There's an opening, Tam, up in Radio Brecon.
By the way, Joe Kearney says, can you all individually answer if you think there should be relegation? Barry?
No.
No for me.
I thought Roughie was going to say yes, sir.
No. He was waiting on somebody saying something in his ears to tell him what to say. He's got a link there through.
No, Peter, we've been on about it, batting on about it for the last couple of years since I come on the show. Reconstruction, perfect time to go and do it.
Yeah. How many? How many in the league, Barry?
2 or 4. Look, whatever way you want, whether it's 14, 10, 10 and 10, or whether you want to put us and Bonnyrigg up and Brora, and I'm not sure who finished second to Brora. Go and do it that way. Whether it's 2 or 4, I'm easy.
Yeah, here's another one here. Charlie Irons, he's a big jambo. I love Charlie. He's a great lad. I used to throw him out of the Rutland, Tam, when he was absolutely bladdered out of his head. But he says, I wouldn't survive in the East End as well. You wouldn't find the East End, Peter. I don't know, Tam, did you ever venture out in the West End of Edinburgh when you were a Hibs player?
Where's the West End? Like Gorgon? Places like that?
No, like the West End, just at the Lothian Road end, where there's a lot of trendy pubs. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. Did you not?
Yeah, no.
No? Did you go out
I went to
the West End?
Oh, yes, I went to all the uptown places. I don't know why you get that. Where you get that from, Peter?
Well, I'm just looking because we used to go out in the West End.
Try to say my Jakey.
No. The thing I'm trying to say is we didn't usually let thugs in like yourself and all those other Neds you used to hang about with. Roughie, you were never in. I mean, you lived outside Edinburgh when you played for Hibs.
Yeah, I stayed down in Gifford, a country boy again. Always stayed out in the country, but no, it wasn't a place I would have went over to either. I'm sure you'll remember the first media when we were doing, I think it was a Hearts game there, and we were walking around the turnstile, and the boy went, "Here, Roughie, catch this." And it was a pie coming for about 50 feet in the air off the top stand. So, no, I tended to stay away from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just say something to you guys, and you'll never believe this, just before we give you the answers for the quiz. When Roughie and I started out about 8 years ago in this programme, we had the commentary. And as you know, Roughie and technology is just a disaster. So we're 60 seconds away from the start of our first show. We're at Easter Road. And Roughie, just as we're about to get ready to go on, Roughie kicked the plug. All the electricity had gone. Took us off here. And he looked at me as if it was my fault. There was nothing we could do. And he's looking at me as if to say, I don't know what happened. And he was scared to tell me he kicked everybody in the media box off air with just one foul swoop. He was absolutely magnificent.
Out of interest, Peter, have you had any interesting things happen at Ibrox?
At Ibrox?
You and Roughie?
I'll tell you what. I sucker. Wait, hear this one, Barry.
Hey, by the way, it'll be more than a player getting hot with it.
No. First, it was in the gantry. You obviously seen the gantry, Barry. The gantry with the media is at Ibrox.
Roughie, I was at Rangers. I was at Rangers. I was 15,
when you're up in the gantry, you're up in the gantry
I know what it is.
with everybody and all the supports behind you. What, 10,000? And I'm at my first Celtic Rangers game, and the bold Peter's sitting there, and he goes, "Roughie, away along and get some pies and coffees, will you?" Idiot. Gets up.
Did you go
all the way right away along to the end of the pies? Absolute dog abuse, and he's got his heat down like that. All right, cheers. Here's my pie.
By the way, I kid you not. I mean, I kid you not, Barry. As far as at Ibrox, I don't know why, but there used to be. I mean, there was a fun element to it, and then there was. I have to say, I'm not kidding you on here. There's a nasty element, but there used to be about 40 of them, right? And they would wait for me coming down off the gantry.
Just 35 of them are my mates.
Totally. Honestly, every day, every time I went to Ibrox to do the commentary, Tam, about 40 of them would surround me walking down to the press room, and they were giving me dog's abuse. And I always remember the Rangers PR guy says, I hear you're getting absolute pelters at Ibrox every time you come off the commentary position. And he says, why don't you report them? And I thought to myself, are you kidding me? Who cares? I used to go down and I'd laugh. They would give me dog's abuse.
The first time I went to walk, Barry, along that way, I was walking and I was doing well. I was getting there, and I was nearly there. And who's standing there right at the Pine Bovril bit was Big Andy Smiley. He goes, and where do you think you're going? I went, oh, I wasn't that hungry. Well, I wasn't that hungry anyway.
You always get good banter wherever you go. But I have to tell you, Tam, in your old club, just before we go, up at your old club, Dundee, Roughie, myself, and Smudger, Gordon Smith, were doing the commentary. And it was the day that I think Dundee were in danger of, I don't know what it was, Roughie, but Morton and Hamilton.
It's a goal
Accies
difference.
Yeah, it was a goal difference. Did Hamilton?
That's right.
Hamilton were winning
scoring
6, 7,
No,
8, 9.
They won 10.
Like
They won 10. They beat Morton 10-2 in the last day of the season.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Tam, this is God's honest truth. We're doing the commentary at Dens Park, and it was on a knife edge. And every time Hamilton Accies scored, I've said, go for Hamilton Accies. And I kid you not, in that Dens Park stand, I thought they were going to beat the living daylights out of us. I thought they were going to batter us. And you know the funny thing is, Roughie, you'll never forget this. That day, Gordon Smith wanted to pick a fight with them. He wanted to fight back with them. And Roughie and I, in our usual, we're right behind you, Gordon, we shoved him to the front. And Roughie revealed at half-time, because it was so cold, that he was wearing an all-in-one, woolly, what do you call those
Long
things?
John. Long
Johns.
The Long Johns.
He done all-in-one Long John, and at half-time he went down and he had to go to the toilet, and it wasn't for a quickie. And he couldn't get his Long Johns off. It was an all-in-one, and it didn't have a space.
What did you do? Did you piss yourself?
When I came back and I sat down, Peter went, what's that smell?
It's not the first time you've pissed yourself.
Oh,
I have to tell you. Now, listen, I have to tell you, Johnston McCann, if that's his name, says only at Ibrox did you get pelters. Johnston, you'll never believe it. I absolutely get pelters everywhere I went. But some of it was good fun, some of it was mental. Anyway, any ideas, you guys, on the brothers played together?
Dan and Derek Young.
Gary Caldwell, Stephen Caldwell and the Heat. Gary Caldwell.
Yep. Why do you
Gary
call him
and
the
Phil
Heat?
Neville.
He's seen the size of his napper.
What the Heat does? It's like a meatball. Gary and Phil Neville. That's a good one. Yep.
Yep.
Robbie and
Alan
Davey
and John
Winters.
Hansen.
Say that again. Alan and John
Alan
Hansen.
and John
That's a
Hansen.
good one. Oof, that's a good one, Roughie, because our reporter Gabriel's put the list together, and you three have given us names that I don't think will be in it. Tam?
Robbie and Davey Winters. Did somebody say that? No?
Yeah, Robbie and they're good as well. The Charlton brothers, did you mention them? Jack and Bobby?
Yeah.
Do you remember them? World Cup winners.
Did the Boers play together?
The Boers.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, they were. Who was the best one for you between the two of them, Barry? Ronald or Frank?
Ronald.
Yeah.
Ronald. It just more because Ronald played in front of us in terms of centre back. I mean, Frank was an unbelievable footballer, don't get us wrong, but Ronald was excellent footballer.
What a player.
Yeah,
Had that wee turn, Barry, didn't he? Had the wee shimmy to get away from people. Always remember it.
Barcelona let him go on the cheap because he wasn't fit. He never trained every day. Maybe trained on a Thursday and a Friday leading up to a game, and then he was on the bike Monday, Tuesday.
Roughie, here's a name, by the way. Gordon Sherry. Do you remember Gordon?
Golfer.
Yeah, big Gordon Sherry, yeah. For Ayr, it was Ayr United, Kilmarnock. He came from here.
The golfer.
Oh, the golf. Oh, there's two Gordon Sherrys. I know both of them. There's a Gordon Sherry played for Ayr, and there's a Gordon Sherry. Oh, he's famous, Gordon Sherry for Ayr. But also the golfer. Yes, I know him, yeah.
Well, the golfer's famous as well. The
Tam
golfer's famous as
McAdam.
well.
Tam McAdam.
Colin and Tam.
Did Tam and Colin play together?
No.
Sure.
No, Tam was at Celtic. Rangers. Colin went to Rangers for Partick Thistle.
Yeah.
Jim and Tommy McSwiggan.
McLean.
Yeah,
He played with Brecon. Played with Brecon away back. In,
Don't mention
yeah.
that.
He's Tam. He's just making up names.
He's
now.
making it up. I know.
They never played together. They're not even. They don't exist. Gordon Sherry. The reason why I said to you Gordon Sherry is because I've spoken with Gordon Sherry, and he is really funny, brilliant after dinner, great stories as well. And he says the Longstaffs at Newcastle. That's a good shout.
I was
it?
just about to say them, aye.
Sure,
the ginger, the ginger.
Longstaff.
Yeah,
Aye.
the
Two centre
Longstaffs.
midfielders.
The ginger. He did one.
That sounds like one of Ruffie's videos.
Yeah. you, by the way, you can go back to the BBC anytime soon, by the way. You're a disgrace. Anyway, the De Boer brothers was one that Alec mentioned, and John Pagan says something. He says, I think Ruffy's had too much sherry. We thought that before he came on today. He's been mental. Stephen and John McGinn, did they play together?
Hi, Stephen.
I think maybe
The
they did.
McKinns, yeah.
Three of them.
What about
Paul?
McStay? What about the McStays?
Paul and Willie?
They played together.
That's a great shout. Yeah, that's a good shout. And also, it's Matty and Sean Longstaff. The McGinn brothers was mentioned. And after that, there's lots of other names. Ricky and Kenny Gillis at St Mirren. So there you are. Sean Maxwell says, any news on the vote in the SPFL? They've been meeting now, Roughie. Probably the second meeting has been going now for 18 minutes. So we haven't had any news on it. We await Scott Gardner's press conference to tell us exactly what happened in it. To be honest with you, right, here's the answers to some of the brothers that played
Tam
together.
can phone up Ken Ferguson, get a chat with him, find out what's happening.
Shut up.
Yeah,
tell you what.
Hey, who never get the Loudrop brothers?
Oh,
Barry.
no, I'm raging. I'm raging.
You're meant to be
at that.
staunch.
I know.
You should have got them.
I'll have a chat
By
with
the way,
myself.
I'm going to be controversial here. I think Michael was better than Brian.
Yeah, he was some player as well, wasn't he?
Peter, how did nobody get the Jacobs brothers? That's a cracker.
I know.
Honestly, I can't. Listen, see you are as just as bad as Tam Cowan. You're as bad as Tam Cowan. Listen, the answer to the
I tell you, that's brilliant.
the
I love
answer
you,
to
Tam. I love you.
oh God. The answer to the
bro.
quiz from today is season 2007-2008. By the way, Roughie started off with a joke at the start of the programme and he laughed away to himself. And Tam has finished off the show in a similar vein. The Millers, Greg and Graham at Hibs under Alec Miller, says Scott Weir. Could you give a shout out, Barry, to Dougie Liddell, because you stole his answer. So give a shout out to Dougie.
Sorry for that, Dougie.
There you are. Listen, it's been a joy. Jinxie Campbell, Don Clark, John Hawkins, just a guy.
Do you read that or something?
No, is it?
Ronald de Villiers.
No, Barry, did you
Ronald
read
de
that?
It's Barry de Villiers, man, between the
Listen,
flats.
at least Barry does the commercials that we ask him to do. He traps. You two are unbelievable. Thanks to Gordon
honestly,
Drysdale.
I cannot wait till you do your first one, Tam.
Yeah. Once you do your first commercial, Barry, that's it. No problem with Roughie. Roughie sounds as if he's in an American movie when we ask him to do things. Thanks to Mark Derrigetti, Brian Drummond, Russell Gordon, so many people who joined us on YouTube and Facebook. Incidentally, if you like, share and follow our programme on Facebook, we would absolutely be delighted. Share it with your friends. The figures we've got are phenomenal. People are finding us for the first time. People are interacting with us. And we are grateful that you're joining the football family. There's lots of content on the website. There's superb content on our YouTube channel. If you are on our YouTube channel, thank you to the majority of decent people who are on there who are not in any way getting involved in some of the profanities and bigotry. It's 99% great people who want to talk about football. If you want to join us on YouTube, if you've got Sky, just go down to your apps, cut across to YouTube, hit PLZ Soccer in, and you get the programme huge on your telly, and you can enjoy the banter every day, Monday to Friday. We're live at 4 o'clock, or watch it at your leisure. I have to say to so many people, Roughie, that are following us, not only do we get huge audiences in Great Britain, but there are people from Canada, Vietnam, USA, Australia, all joining the programme and posting his messages through the night when they get to watch the show.
Yeah, it just shows you that we're not the only people in this predicament. No, indoors, all over the world are doing it. And if we can cheer them up for an hour, or as it is today, an hour and 45 minutes, all the better. I'm sure you're just waiting on a statement coming out to the SPFL.
He's hanging on for dear life here on this show.
All right, Maggie, I'll be in a minute. Hold on.
I was trying the best of my ability to see if there was an SPFL statement out, but there is absolutely. I've tried my best, folks. Ruffy's clearly telling us, by the way, we've gone on too long. So on that note, to everybody who's contributed, from Barry, from Tam, and don't forget, if you want, we are selling tickets probably in August. Tam live at the Brecon Town Hall. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic night. Tam just there as a solo, and people taking pot shots at him. Anyway, on that note, from Roughie, Tam, Barry and myself, thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.